Good evening again, teachers, and welcome again to our explainer video for Module 3A, Lesson 1. And tonight, I will be accompanied by these beautiful teachers. Hello, Teacher Pearl. Hello, Teacher
Hi, Sir
Angel.
Robert.
And
Hello, Sir
hello,
Robert.
Coach
Hello,
Kurt.
Coach Kurt. Good
Yes, how are
evening.
you
Hi,
tonight?
Coach. We're definitely good
Hello,
than
hello.
yesterday.
Yes, it's so good to see everyone again. I hope others could join us, no? But because of internet connectivity issues, they cannot join us tonight. But we hope to have them in our following sessions. And just like what I have mentioned the other day, last night, we have another guest for tonight who will be joining us for our discussion tonight. And I hope you will be surprised. So, eto na siya. Tan-tanan! Hello,
Hi,
Teacher
Kim!
Kim!
Kim.
Uy, happy birthday kay Kim.
Abay,
Hi, Kim.
kumahal.
Hi, Kim!
Hello, Kim.
From
Nakamute
Oxy.
ang mic ni mo, Kim. Ay, nawawala si Kim.
Ay,
Medyo
nawala.
struggle ang
Ay,
Oo.
di
internet.
ba?
Hi,
Nako'y
sir.
Bumalik.
hint. Nga
Bird,
si Kim.
Sir Kirk, Ma'am Pearl, Ma'am
Ha?
Angel.
Hello.
Hello, uy, kaunta
Hello,
ka.
Kim!
Kim.
Kamanli.
Hi! We miss
Abay.
you.
Hi.
Thank you so
Si
much for
Mord, si
joining us
On.
tonight.
Yes, sir,
Uy,
thanks
madami
po.
nagka-crush kay
Oo.
Kim from Oxy. My friends from Oxy.
Yeah.
Let us welcome our visitor from Malita West District, Schools Division of from the Schools Division of Davao Occidental, from Julian M. Turado Elementary School. Please welcome, diri di ay padulong, Teacher Kim.
Yay.
Yay! Hi,
Hello, well,
Teacher
thank you
Hi,
po.
Kim.
Kim!
Namok lagi ka, Kim.
Hi, sir.
Healthy.
Ma.
Oo, getting healthy na. Sige, so
Yay.
tonight,
Ah,
uh, King will also be sharing some of the things that they have done in their school, kung paano nila ginawa yung LDM nila sa school nila. So, but tonight, yung discussant natin will be Coach Kirk. Siya yung magdi-discuss for Module 3A, Lesson 1. So, ladies and gentlemen, let us
Now na.
welcome, yes, Sir Kirk
Feel mo
Herwela.
na, babe. Dali lang.
Oo.
Hinahanap ko yung yung presentation
Yung
sandali.
presentation, sige, sige. While waiting, kumustahin natin si Sir Kim, Teacher Kim. Kim,
mm-mm.
how are you?
Sir, okay lang. Kayo.
Mm. So, wala nang
Kamo.
quarantine? Hindi ka na
Ulo lagi ko.
na-quarantine?
Wala na, sir.
Just
Human na, sir.
relax. Oo. Very good. By the way, naatay mga guests who are also members of our, I mean, not guests, but members in our private group who are coming from Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. Mao na from time to time nagatagalog ni so that they would also understand our conversations and our
Ay, magaling ako
inputs.
dyan.
Oo. Si Kirk is a
Okay na.
native speaker, 'di ba, ng native speaker ng
Oo.
salitang Filipino.
Oo, pero
Kaya
Mindanao
Talagang
accent.
expert siya dyan.
natural.
Oo,
Inborn.
natural.
Okay na. So,
Oo.
share screen na.
Yes.
Okay.
We are waiting for your screen.
Sandali. Yeah, entire screen na lang.
'Di ba?
Kasi,
Murag mo kanta si Kirk.
ayan, I'm
Oo.
sharing my entire screen kasi gagamit ako ng una PowerPoint presentation and then right after sa
Mhm.
PowerPoint
Yes.
presentation, yung lecture na about sa part ng PowerPoint presentation.
Sige, sige.
Okay. Sige, so start na ako. So good evening, teachers of Davao del Sur, Division of Davao del Sur. Welcome to Learning Delivery Modalities course for teachers, particularly the Module 3A, Designing Instruction in a Different Learning Delivery Modalities. So I'll be your discussant for tonight, Kirk Sanil Heruela. So the objectives of this module is to differentiate between the learning delivery modality or LDM prescribed by the LCP and between the different types of distance learning modalities, and then apply lesson design and assessment considerations for distance learning in light of the COVID-19 crisis. Create a weekly home learning plan to guide your learners as they do independent study at home, and then create an individual learning monitoring plan to keep track of the progress of learners who lag behind in completing the prescribed learning tasks. These are the objectives of the module. However, we are only going to discuss some of this kasi masyadong mahaba. Particularly
Mm-mm.
for this session, yung LDM lang muna ang ating i-discuss kasi masyadong mahaba kung tatapusin natin yung tatlo pang objectives. So for the lessons, we're going to discuss the first lesson, the understanding the different LDMs or learning delivery modalities. Okay, supposed to be na mayroon siyang mga activities pero hindi na muna kasi ating magkakaroon tayo ng in-depth discussion or um, inputs regarding sa LDMs. So hindi na tayo magka-activity. So, sa activity number 1, supposed to be, we're going to do a quick check of your knowledge of the four modalities prescribed in the LCP, the face-to-face learning, the distance learning, the blended learning, and the homeschooling. In your own words, supposed to be this, you need to define each modality. But I'm going to cut my presentation here because I'm going to discuss the LDMs in an in-depth manner. Okay, so I'm going to show you my discussion regarding the LDMs. So, Bubert, naka-widescreen ba
Yes, Kirk.
ang aking... Okay,
We are seeing your video.
okay. So, hindi siya vlog. So, ito na yung aking presentation. So, please watch. Good morning, everyone. Let me begin this part with my prayers and good health to everyone, especially these trying times and in the bleak scenario.
Kirky, paki-ano ng audio? Palakas ng audio?
Mahina po ba? Mahina, sir, or wala talaga?
Mahina, sir.
Masyadong
Siguro-
malabo yung tunog.
Sige. Kasi naka-ano na
Full na siya.
naka-full na. Kita nyo ba?
I-try mo
Full,
daw
di ba?
ilapit yung mic, Sir Kirk.
Full na.
Ilapit yung mic sa speaker.
Kasi naka-headset ako.
Ay, oo.
So, hindi siya mag-function, sir, kung tatanggalin ko yung headset para naka-loudspeak.
Try mo daw, sige.
Sige. Try natin na. And then, paki-notify kung meron or wala.
Sige, go.
Sandali. Good morning, everyone. Let me begin this
Yes,
part with my
affirmative,
prayers.
Kirk.
How about... Ha? Okay na?
Medyo na siya, medyo okay na.
So, continue tayo. Good morning, everyone. Let me begin this part with my prayers of hope and good health to everyone, especially these trying times and in the bleak scenario brought by COVID-19 pandemic. Not only our personal lives and routines have rapidly changed and challenged by this pandemic, but as well as our businesses, our professional endeavors, and also our education system have been challenged. In fact, various provisions of the Interagency Task Force and the different government executive orders and policies have intensified the atypical regulations of movement of goods, services, and of course, people. That is why face-to-face mode of classes has been prohibited. And thus, the Department of Education has to adopt the learning delivery modalities that do not involve face-to-face. And these learning delivery modalities are actually the concepts I am going to discuss today. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Learning Delivery Modalities course for division and school leaders. The advice of the current government specifies that there will be no face-to-face learning permitted until a vaccine is available. This has been emphasized further by our President Rodrigo Roa Duterte on the 2020 State of the Nation address last July 2020. As response to this, the Basic Education Learning Continuity Plan has identified 3 learning delivery modalities as alternative modes to ensure the delivery of quality learning to learners regardless of what they are and who they are. These are the blended learning, the homeschooling, and distance learning. Since blended learning entails face-to-face interaction among learners, which will violate the different provisions of IATF and other government policies, therefore, this blended learning is not a possible learning delivery modality in our situation. While homeschooling programs are already being offered by private schools and accredited homeschool providers, the implementation of homeschooling in public schools is still being considered, and the cover policy for its implementation is still being developed. Hence, just like blended learning, homeschooling is also not a possible and more so not an available modality for us. Since blended learning is not a possible modality and homeschooling is not yet available, we are therefore resorted to distance learning. With this, our future strategic direction in the delivery of quality education amidst the COVID-19 pandemic is distance learning. While maybe some of us here have already the idea or have come to read the concept of distance learning in our books or in the internet, but at this point, please allow me to further your knowledge by discussing comprehensively some important points regarding distance learning in the context of the Department of Education. Before that, please note that this guidance is based on draft policy guidelines which are still being finalized and are subject to change. Guidance contained in this document will be superseded by official policy issuance. Going back to distance learning, or otherwise known as learning from a distance, refers to a learning delivery modality where a learner is given materials or access to resources and he or she undertakes self-directed study at home or in another venue, pursuant to Department or DepEd Order number 21, series of 2019, page 96. More so, in distance learning, learners engage in independent learning at home or in any physical learning space applicable. The resources could be accessible either online or stored on CD, DVD, USB flash drive, or in printed form, or by viewing TV lessons, or listening to radio-based instruction while being geographically distant from the teacher. The teacher supervises and monitors the learner's progress and provides remediation and enhancement when needed and possible. Assistance may be provided by a learning facilitator who may be a parent or a member of the family or a community stakeholder. I know that these ideas regarding distance learning seem to be ambiguous, and maybe you are already asking questions like, how about those students who don't have computers? Or what are we going to do to those students who have no internet access? Or how about those students who are geographically challenged or remote?
Your questions and feelings of ambiguity are valid. This because the concept or idea of distance learning is still broad. That's why this distance learning as a learning delivery modality is divided into 4 more specific subcategories, namely modular distance learning, online distance learning, PV-based, radio-based instruction, and blended distance learning. Now, allow me to discuss further these 4 distance learning modalities to enlighten us more about this distance learning. And let us start with modular distance learning. When we say modular distance learning or MDL, this refers to a learning delivery that is the form of individualized instruction where learners use self-learning modules. It could be in print or digital format, whichever is applicable in the context of the learner. Meaning to say, whenever we assign self-learning modules, we must always consider the context of our learner. Remember that what makes our learner different from each other is because of their social, cultural, and socio-economic backgrounds. In other words, we have students who are fortunate enough to have electronic devices like laptops, tablets, and mobile phones. And we also have less fortunate students who have none at all. Therefore, print materials should be provided for learners who have no available devices at home. And electronic copies and PDFs stored on a CD, DVD, or USB flash drive should be provided to learners with a laptop, desktop, computer, or any available digital device. Now, this modular distance learning is sufficient enough to ensure the accomplishment of the most essential learning competencies. Although students learn remotely or away from physical school or classroom, the accomplishment or attainment of the most essential learning competencies should be the priority as well. Learners will also be provided with suggested time frame in accordance with his or her learning needs, characteristics, and level of understanding. Meaning to say, together with the provisions of modules to our students, deadlines to be set for the accomplishment of tasks should be congruent to the level of understanding, characteristics, and learning needs of our learners, since our learners are all diverse. Also, timely and appropriate monitoring and feedback for consultation and intervention purposes shall be put in place through various touch points. Meaning, although learning in this mode is self-directed, teachers should still provide appropriate feedbacking and monitoring to students' progress. Since we cannot do this in a face-to-face manner, the alternative touch points this time are via text messaging or video calls or audio calls. The next one is what we call the online distance learning. When we say online distance learning, this refers to an individualized instruction where the teacher facilitates learning and engages learners' active participation using various technologies connected to the internet. In other words, this is the conduct of virtual class while teachers and learners are geographically remote from each other. Since teacher will facilitate the learning process through the use of technology or device, which is significantly connected to internet, therefore, the prerequisite material needed for this distance learning modality is a strong and stable internet connectivity. Online distance learning may be through a synchronous or asynchronous platform. When we say synchronous, it means that online distance teaching learning is in real time. On the other note, asynchronous means an online distance learning that occurs through online channels without real-time interaction. In asynchronous as well, Students are given opportunity to access information, demonstrate what they learned, and communicate with the classmates and instructors on their own time. They don't have to be in the same virtual classroom or even in the time zone to participate. To explain further the asynchronous platform, remember the webinars, virtual conferences, or live chats we have attended? These are some examples of synchronous. It is like a normal class, but in a virtual mode. On the other note, when we post learning materials online and allow students to access them and accomplish them at any time that's most favorable to them, that is more asynchronous. Whichever it is, synchronous or asynchronous, it always requires both teacher and learners to have good and stable internet connection. A class adopting online distance learning shall follow the regular planning standards in the organization of classes set by the Department of Education. It shall be applicable in schools where both the teachers and learners have access to digital devices such as laptops, tablets, smartphones, and desktops, computers with available online resources and internet connectivity. The learning resources to be used are, but not limited to the following: SLMs for alternative delivery modes, textbooks, primer lessons, activity sheets, teacher-made videos, and supplementary materials, and open education or educational resources. SLMs or SLMs and primer lessons shall be converted into different digital forms such as interactive lessons or electronic books, or what we call ebooks, and shall be available through the Department of Education Learning Resource Portal. There are also DepEd Recognized Learning Management System, or DepEd Aid 2019, where we can upload our interactive lessons or electronic books. These are the Edmodo. This learning management system constitutes tools and resources to manage classrooms and engage students remotely, offering a variety of language. The more familiar Google Classroom, this helps classes connect remotely, communicate, and stay organized. And lastly, we have what we call the Schoology. This comprises tools to support instruction, learning, grading, collaboration, and assessment. The third distance learning modality is what we call the TV-based instruction or radio-based instruction, which refers to the use of television or radio programs on channels or stations dedicated to providing learning content to learners as a form of distance education. The lessons on this are converted to self-learning modules where the sequence of presentation is similar with what other learners use in online and modular distance learning. This may not be considered a sole learning delivery modality, as it usually combined with face-to-face learning or other forms of distance learning such as modular distance learning or online distance learning modalities that were discussed a while ago. Also, guidance from parents, learning facilitator during viewing or listening time shall be required, meaning with the use of the TVBI or RBI, the parents or any member of the family is expected to scaffold learners for a meaningful learning experience. The last one is what we call the blended distance learning or BBL. These are any combination of the discussed distance learning types. We have what we call, or the combination can be, modular distance learning plus online distance learning, modular distance learning plus TV-based or radio-based instruction, or online distance learning plus TV-based or radio-based instruction, or the combination of the three, the online distance learning plus TV-based or radio-based instruction and modular distance learning. And those are the different distance learning modalities. But the next question is, who or how can we be qualified to any of the discussed types of distance learning modalities? To answer that question, allow me to present the non-negotiable minimum requirements for distance learning modalities. Note that the list of requirements is based on draft policy guidelines, which are still being finalized and are subject to change. Guidance contained in this document will be superseded by official policy issuance. The first requirement is for the online distance learning, or ODL. The requirements that must be available are the following. First, the school has educational platform or learning management system, or LMS, either subscription-based or locally developed. Also, the school has technical expertise to run and support the educational platform 24/7. Technical expertise can be in-house or outsourced or combination, depending on the nature of the deployment. The more in-house or locally developed is the hosted platform, the higher the degree of technical support personnel is required. The school has email facility or domain name for all teachers and users. Take note that the school can outsource as well. The next is the school has help desk personnel working under the platform managers whose main task will be to directly answer usage queries, both teachers and students. Also, the school has complete and appropriate content for Q1 in the platform. Also, together with the content, the school has proper assessment, example, quiz, and exams available in the platform. The same assessment should be regularly reviewed and updated. The school has institutionalized the training and updating of teachers to be more technologically adept. Also, teachers have access to device or devices and connectivity at the school. The learners have access to the necessary resources like device and internet connectivity to access the lessons. Lastly, the parents have expressed willingness for the option of online distance learning for their children. Here are the requirements that should be addressed by the school who plans to employ online distance learning, and these are to be addressed as soon as possible. First, teachers have access to device or devices and connectivity at the school. The learners have access to the necessary resources like device and internet connectivity to access the lessons. The parents as well should have expressed willingness for the option of online distance learning for their children. Now, what are the requirements for modular distance learning? For modular distance learning, it is being required that the school orients the teachers, parents, and learners about the modular learning policies and directions to ensure that everyone is properly informed and guided. The school has complete and appropriate content. These are learning modules or self-learning modules in print and electronic copy or e-copy for those with device. For Q1 available for distribution to learners. Also, the school has available reference or supplementary materials for distribution to the learners. It is also significant that the parents have expressed willingness for the option of modular distance learning for their children. And the parents are willing to co-supervise and co-monitor the progress of their children's modular distance learning. Now, for the TV-based instruction or radio-based instruction, or TBI, RBI, the requirements are as follows. The school orients the teachers, parents, and learners about the TV or radio-based instruction policies and directions to ensure that everyone is properly informed and guided. Next, the school has memorandum of agreement or memorandum of understanding with a television network or radio station for the needed airtime slot. Also, the school has complete and appropriate content. These are the learning modules or self-learning modules in video format and radio-based lesson or radio script, as well as in print or electronic copy for quarter 1. Not to forget also, the school have available reference or supplementary materials for distribution to the learners. Just like any other, the parents ensure children's access to television and radio. Moreover, the parents have expressed willingness for the option of TV or radio-based instruction for their children. Also, the parents are willing to co-supervise and co-monitor the progress of their children's learning as well as provide guidance to their children. Now, for blended learning, the minimum requirements must be met for each of the types being combined. In other words, the requirements for the blended distance learning will depend to the combinations of the different distance learning modalities. Say, for example, if it is modular distance learning plus online distance learning, then therefore, the requirements to be complied are those under the former and the latter. And those are the different learning delivery modalities, distance learning modalities, and the requirements for the distance learning modalities. I hope that I have enlightened this presentation. Thank you and have a lovely day.
Ayan, hello. Tapos na po ang aking
Yes, Kirky.
presentation regarding sa LDMs at non-negotiable requirements for those different distance learning modalities.
Congratulations, Kirky, for that very comprehensive and very good presentation. Yay!
Yay!
So, nasaan na yung mga
Thank you so much,
kasamahang
sir.
teachers natin dito? Yes, as usual,
Yes,
you never
congrats,
fail.
Sir.
You,
Siya
you
talaga
always
nauuna,
give.
no? Napakabilis ng
Of
daliri ni
course.
Pearl.
I am
you
so
always.
ready because I have a question. Can I ask a question, Sir Kerr?
Okay,
Sir,
Pearl.
please.
I hope that I can answer the
Yes,
question.
sir,
Kung hindi ko
kanang.
masagot, andyan si Sir Pubert.
Yes, of course. I know you can answer this.
Take
Just
note,
a
lesson
clarification.
1 is different LDMs. No? What are
Yes,
those
po.
different LDMs?
So this is my question.
Mm-hmm.
So part of our implementation of distance learning is the use of SLMs, of course. So, but one of the activities that is expected from us is documentation of lesson delivery. We can have outputs if we can do online learning, but in our situation, we cannot. So, what are other outputs that we can do so that we can have documentation of lesson delivery? Especially, we are using SLMs.
Sir Bobert has more authority to answer that question. Bigay ko kay Sir Bobert.
Sana nandito si Madam Rita, no? Because she can give a deeper and further explanation to that. But as of now, the division office is employing other support for delivery instructions. Kasi yung SLMs natin, nabigay siya sa mga students. And we cannot deny that parents have limited knowledge also on some of the topics that are written in our SLMs. Now, take note, si teacher na-delegate lang yung task in giving instructions to the children through the parents. Na-delegate lang ha, na-delegate lang siya. Since wala tayong face-to-face interaction for the time being. But it doesn't mean na kapag ka nag-delegate tayo, ay mag-a-abnegate si teacher. Oo, anong ibig sabihin nun? Even if there are parents as learning facilitator, doon sa bahay ng mga estudyante, si teacher mismo dapat gumagawa ng paraan na makontak yung estudyante at issure na yung instructions na binigay ng mga learning facilitators at home ay tama. Now, there are circumstances na may mga parents tayo na hindi marunong magbasa, hindi nakatapos ng elementary. Others only finished grade 1 or grade 2. When we did tour for the orientation on the basic education learning continuity plan, one parent asked our facilitator, sabi niya, "Sir, paano yan? Yung parents hindi marunong magbasa. Sino ang mag-explain sa estudyante?" Which is very valid. Which is very
Yes.
valid. Because we have parents
Yes,
who really
yes.
do not know how to read. Oo.
Yes po.
Remember na hindi napuputol yung task ni teacher in the delivery of instructions to the children. Hindi siya dapat napuputol doon. Dapat hinahanapan ni teacher ng paraan kung paano niya maaabot or maipapaabot doon kay student or kay learner yung instructions. Remember that
Okay po.
our challenge for this new normal is the delivery of instruction from the teacher to the learners. So dapat may mga gagawin tayong interventions kung paano natin i-deliver ang instructions kay student or kay learner. Now, in the absence of internet, meron tayong support dyan, like the radio-based instruction. Sayang, nandito sana si si Teacher Jason at saka si Teacher Richelle because they are our talents for radio-based instruction. Oo. So, sana makakapagbigay sila dito ng experience nila in the delivery of instruction using the radio. Yun is already an intervention of how we can deliver the instructions to our children or to our learners. Aside from the radio-based, we also have our online platform via our DepEd
Group chat.
classroom. Anong tawag doon? Nakalimutan ko yung Facebook page natin.
Dep-
DepEd classroom.
Davao del Sur
DepEd
Classroom.
Oo, classroom. So while yung ating mga talents for the radio-based instruction are airing, they are also being telecast. They are also streamed live via our Facebook page for Davao del Sur Classroom. So that is one. Now, in the absence of radio, in the absence of online platform, I think may mga parents naman siguro tayo na may cellphones. That is the time na dapat tawagan ninyo si parent kung na-i-deliver ba nila ng maayos or not necessarily na tawagan ninyo sila, but the parents will contact you for clarifications and for further explanations tungkol sa topic na medyo nahihirapan sila. So dapat ganun. Dapat hindi siya napuputol, dapat hindi putol yung ating communication line between sa teachers at ng ating mga parents. Oo. Kasi nga 'di ba may mga memes tayong nababasa sa Facebook sabi nila, kami na lang dapat ang tumanggap ng sweldo ni teacher kasi kami na nagtuturo sa loob ng bahay. No, that is not true na hindi na nagtuturo si teacher. Kasi nagre-reach out pa rin si teacher, especially to those learners na wala talagang means of communication. Oo, so
Sir
hindi
Bobert,
napuputol yung instructional, yung delivery
Sir
of
Bobert,
instruction natin.
I have
Sir
Yes,
Bobert,
yes.
Bobert. Sandali.
Si Kirky muna. Sige, Kirk.
Oo. I would also like to share something kasi with regards to yung answer at yung tanong. Kasi sa division, may
Mm-mm.
ginagawang research pero hindi pa siya tapos. Pero yung analysis ng
Mm.
research, tapos na yung pag-gather ng data. At tama yung sinabi ni Sir
Mm-mm.
Buford regarding sa experiences at yung mga experiences ng mga teachers in giving assistance sa learning modalities, particularly sa paggamit ng SLM. Particularly, may mga themes na lumabas sa difficulties sa mga teachers pagdating sa SLMs. Um, Una-una,
Sorry.
nag-emerge,
Wait.
unang-una, nag-emerge yung challenges ng mga
That's
teachers in
okay.
giving assistance. I would like to emphasize kung
Sorry,
ano
Kirk.
yung mga
Ha?
challenges
Sorry.
nila. Okay
Sorry
lang,
about
okay lang.
that. Oo, sige.
Hello, Madam Corazon. Magandang gabi. Oo. So,
Oo, kasi
I will
biglang lumapit,
continue.
hindi niya alam na we are live.
Yung mga challenges na yun, ito yun sila. Difficulty in teacher-parent correspondence. Tama yan siya. Totoo na, that is true to all in a division. Nahihirapan yung mga teachers in terms of correspondence. Kasi yung ibang mga parents, walang cellphones or walang gadgets for communication. Another one is difficulty in giving instruction. Nahihirapan yung mga teachers din sa pagbigay ng instruction sa mga parents kasi nga medyo merong gap in terms of yung
Mm-mm.
knowledge about SLMs or sa education in per se, in general. At saka difficulty due to limited touch points tulad ng yung cellphone or mga
Mm.
loads and so on and so forth.
Yes,
Another
yes.
theme na lumabas is yung compromised personal time ng mga teachers natin. Totoo yan sa ating SLMs. Totoo nga yan kahit nga yung normal pa yung delivery of instruction, meron pang face-to-face compromise ang time ng teachers. Lalong-lalo na ngayon na wala ng face-to-face, mas nako-compromise yung personal time ng teachers like giving assistance beyond office hours kasi tinatawagan sila ng mga
Mm.
mga ang mga teachers tinatawagan ng mga parents kahit na
Mm.
beyond the office hours kahit na
Office hours.
Like
Yes, that's correct.
Sabado.
Mm.
yes,
Mm.
kahit na anong oras na, alas 10 ng gabi, tinatawagan kasi nga patuloy pa rin ang pagsagot ng mga estudyante or mga learners sa kanilang SLMs. Another one na magandang lumabas as a theme sa research na ito is yung creativity ng mga teachers, yung going extra mile. Teachers
Mm.
going extra mile sa kanilang trabaho, sa kanilang passion, like creativity in the provision of assistance, like yung may nag-share na sinabi na ang teachers ay gumawa ng group chat, ang members ay mga ang
Mm.
mga parents para isa
Parents.
na lang din yung kanilang pagbigay ng instruction. So may mga ganon. Meron ding going extra mile like meeting parents for discussion. Yung nag-risk, nag-take ng risk yung mga teachers natin na i-meet yung mga teachers but with tawag dyan, response sa kanila or pag-practice ng social distancing at ng health protocol, nag-meet sila ng mga parents para ma-discuss ng mas maayos yung instruction. At saka nag-door-to-door distribution of modules din sila at nag-door-to-door giving of assistance din sila. So yun yung mga resulta ng pag-interview sa teacher sa division na magandang i-highlight din para sa mga teachers na nanonood ngayon para magkakaroon din ng benchmarking or idea kung paano gawin ang mga pagbibigay ng assistance na hindi naman nakaisulat o hindi kayang ibigay o hindi kayang i-instruct ng isang katulad nito. So, gumagawa tayo ng mga paraan na hindi talaga naisulat sa libro, pero alam natin at mas
Mm-mm.
kakabuti kasi mas
Yes.
alam natin as compared to any other persons. Kasi iba yung situation natin sa situation ng iba. So tayo yung mas
Yes,
nakakaalam kung ano
exactly.
yung mas magandang solusyon para sa problema na meron tayo. Kasi iba yung problema natin sa problema ng ibang teacher sa ibang
Mm-mm.
municipality or ibang eskwelahan.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Exactly. Thank you so much, Kirk, for giving that very valuable input and very
Thank you,
meaty input.
sir.
Yes,
Oo,
sir.
malaman na input. Oo. Actually, si Kirk ngayon is actually doing some treatment with some of the data for research. Oo.
Yes.
And at least 'di ba
Wow.
Tapos
natin
na.
natin yung input natin for tonight. Oo, oo.
Yes.
Kahit may mga interruptions tayo. Pasensya na po sa mga live viewers natin. Yung asawa ko hindi niya alam na live po tayo ngayon.
Hello po, madam.
Oo.
It's nice to see Madam
Oo.
Corazon.
Oo. So going
Sir
back to that
Bobert.
very yes, yes, Angel.
Ah,
We
Sir
we would
Bobert.
like to acknowledge your sharing also.
Ah. Yes, Sir Bobert. I would like to have a question about yung sinabi kanina ni Sir Kirk, sir, na the teachers are going an extra mile. Sa amin po kasi we don't
Mm.
have signal sa cellphone, we don't have
Yes,
internet in
because
our
you're oo.
it's a various school in our area. And so are we allowed to have small somehow small groups of discussions with the learners, sir, in every puro? Can we do that?
Ah, learners or
Yes,
parents?
sir. Learners, sir.
Ah,
Yes, sir.
that is
Learners.
highly discouraged, Gel. Oh, that is highly
Okay.
discouraged. As much as possible, hindi talaga
Yes.
dapat lumabas yung mga
Mm.
learners natin because they are prohibited to do so. Ang gagawin lang
Learners.
Okay.
ninyo is, oo, ang pwede lang ninyong gawin, pwede ninyong like for example, in the distribution of your modules, yung mga parents, especially for the kindergarten, no, na medyo mahirap yung delivery of instruction kasi
Sit
nga
down, yeah.
kinder, 'di ba? Oo, medyo mahirap
Apo.
siya unlike with the higher grade levels na medyo okay na nakakabasa, nakakaintindi ng mga content ng ating SLMs. Yung isang school na minonitor namin last opening of school for this school year, yung ginawa nila kasi naka-schedule yung distribution. Like for example, in the morning, 7 to 8 or 8 to 9, kinder 1 yung kukuha ng modules. So, for example, tinutulungan nila yung teacher ng kinder na mag-discuss or magbigay ng one-on-one instructions doon sa mga parents kung paano gagawin yung activities. Tapos tinatanong nila yung mga parents kung ano yung mga concepts or topics na medyo hindi nila naiintindihan. So pwede ninyong gawin yon na one-on-one siya while kuha ng module, tapos retrieve ng module, pwedeng dun yung discussion ninyo with the parents. But hindi natin pwedeng i-meet yung mga learners as of the time being. Oo.
Okay,
So pwedeng
sir.
ganun yung intervention na gawin natin. Oo.
Okay, sir. Thank you,
Yes.
sir.
Yes, your point is very valid. Oh, that's very good point also because other teachers are also asking that one for sure.
Mm.
Uh-uh. Sige, do you have other questions?
Ang galing nating mga
Wala
Pilipino.
na?
Yay!
I just like want to share, sir, in our community that we are so blessed of
Uh-uh.
having our parents. They are really magtatagalog na lang ako. Those parents that yung hindi talaga nila natututukan yung kanilang mga anak ay talagang nagha-hire sila ng mga tutors dito sa amin.
Okay,
Ba't
so
kayo
they are hiring
tumatawa?
tutors.
Opo,
Mm-mm.
yes po. They're hiring tutors like the college students here.
Ay,
Ganun.
actually, si Sir Bernie Kilato natin from our Senior Education Program Specialist for Social Mobilization and Networking, he actually talked to our youth formation coordinator in the division, in the person of Mr. Neil Audan, if pwede ba niyang itap yung ating mga SSG officers
Yeah.
to
Ganda.
discuss in their level kung pwede ba nilang ma-organize yung mga officers nila to do tutorials also with the children nearby. So yung mga
Yan ba yung
kapitbahay ng
tulong
mga
turo?
high school students, for example, ha? Kirk?
Yan ba yung tulong turo?
Again?
Yan ba yung tulong turo na sinasabi, sir? Yung tuti?
Yes, oo, tulong turo. Sorry ha, medyo choppy kasi. Yung concept nun is, ito si high school student. Siyempre si high school student, kaya niyang unawain yung mga modules natin for elementary, di ba?
Elementary.
So kung itong si high school student, tutulungan niya yung mga kapitbahay niyang mga bata na mga learners para maging facilitator din siya nung pagkatuto ng mga bata na kapitbahay niya. So yun yung ginawa na suggestion ni Sir Bernie. And I think Sir Neil is also doing that. So kinausap na niya yung mga SSG officers natin kasi may federated officers na tayo for the SSG. So good thing na isahang instruction, kaya na nilang i-delegate yung information sa mga i-cascade yung information doon sa mga officers in the different schools. So isa yun sa mga possible na interventions na gawin. Which is also good,
Wow.
di ba? Oo.
Opo.
Yeah.
Sana ma-implement.
Yes, they are doing that. Oo.
Yay.
Tanungin ko bukas si Neil about the updates on that para ma-share din natin
Sige,
dito.
sir.
Yes. Kim, I think we can hear you, Kim. Wag mo lang i-on yung video mo. Just your,
Okay
ayan.
pala yun.
Very good. Ayun,
Okay,
nawawala na naman.
okay yung signal
Sige,
niya.
Kim. Audio na lang,
Go,
Kim.
Kim. Pwede din, Cam.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Would you
Hi,
like to share
Kim.
anything? Ay, nawala si Kim. Kim, hello.
With
Yan,
audio
he's
na.
back.
Yes, sir.
Oo.
Share
Yes,
daw,
Kim.
Share mo yung
About
experience mo
your
sa ilog.
practices sa Occidental.
Mm-mm.
Mga best practices.
Siguro
Um,
nahihirapan talaga si Kim with the internet connectivity doon sa Occidental.
Yes, sir.
Parang delay tayo
Nawala-wala
sa
yung
kanya,
net.
sir.
Oo. Nawawala-wala daw yung
Nawawala. Ay, kasi may na
nawawala
talaga yung
internet.
net sa Malita. Pero,
Mm-mm.
Oh.
Kaya nga.
nawawala yung net doon. May na.
Bakit parang expert ka sa
Oo.
internet connection doon, Sir Kirk?
Bitaw,
Parang
no?
nag-aawayan.
Angel?
Angel. Okay, anyway.
Angel.
Let's go back to the topic.
Angel.
Let's go back to the topic.
I was just asking.
Live
Oh my
tayo,
God.
Angel. Live.
Oo.
Hi, Kim.
Nag-carry away tayo. Oo. Sige lang, Kim. Do not be pressured, ha? No pressure. Kasi wala tayong magawa tungkol dyan sa internet issues na
Yes.
yan. Oo. We can
Ano lang
only
sana
pray
ito,
na
no? Kasi
medyo,
win-win.
maging stable na yung internet natin.
Win-win sana
Yes.
ito. Meron makuha si Kim, tayo rin may
Oo.
makuha kay
Yes
Kim.
po.
Kung mabilis ang internet.
Yeah.
Ayan. Ayan, but with the limitations of the internet connectivity sa place ni Kim.
Ay, sir, while hinihintay natin si Kim, si Angel pag-usapan natin.
Yes.
Kumusta, Angel?
Yes, Angel.
Also-
How did you manage to, to stay pretty and alive while doing your
Dasal at tulog
your
lang
job
po.
with passion?
Dasal at tulog lang po. Tubig.
Paano ma-manage ang pagiging pretty despite not taking a bath for 3 days?
Sir Kirk?
Smile na lang, Sir
Hi,
Angel.
hello,
Smile na lang.
sorry. I can't hear you guys. I'm sorry.
Ay, ay,
Oh my God.
sorry.
Dami nating bloopers today, ha?
It's okay. Not
Here,
Yes. Ay, by the
pwede,
way, by the
oh,
way, i-promote
pwede ba
natin ulit
mag-invite ng
yung YouTube
mag-invite
channel.
ng taga-private?
Yes, we can do that. We can also do that. Actually, I have
Yeah.
already a plan na itap natin yung external na na mga partners natin coming from the private school because it's also important that we hear from their side because they might be doing something that we can actually benchmark, 'di ba? Oo.
Yeah, true. True, sir. Yes,
Mhm.
true.
Yes, that's true. So in the next sessions natin,
Feel
I
ko
have
merong
already
ano,
contacted
feel
someone.
ko merong isa-suggest si Angel. Ay,
see.
pero hindi
Oo.
pala pwede HEI. Tama.
Meron akong kakilala from basic education. We have Aris.
Oh, sige daw,
Oo.
try
Sa
natin siya.
Nazareth.
Oo.
Mm-mm.
Sige. So that's
Ay, I
good.
miss Aris.
Pag-usapan natin behind backstage. Pag-usapan natin backstage.
Oo nga naman. Mamaya,
Oo.
magpaplano tayo.
Yes. So as of now, yun lang
Angel.
muna, teachers. Oo, if you have questions, please comment down sa ating comment section below ng ating video and we will answer to your questions and we will address it as soon as we can. Okay? So kung may mga questions pa kayo or any clarifications, just comment it down. Okay? So again, please like and subscribe sa YouTube channel ni Teacher Pearl Josel. So I hope na-plug talaga
Magko-collab
natin yung
kami.
YouTube
Sure,
channel mo.
magko-collab kami.
Ay, may
Soon.
collaboration kayong dalawa,
Pag
di
meron
ba?
na,
Plano ninyo?
yes.
Yes, exciting,
Pag
exciting.
3,000 na yung
Try, we will be looking
Wow.
forward to that soon. Yehey! Sige, sige,
Yay, thank
3,000
you
sige.
so much.
subscribers, guys.
Tignan natin
Pag
yan.
3,000
Oo.
subscribers, magko-collab kami. Mag,
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah, yeah,
mukbang.
yeah,
yes, we will
soon.
be expecting that one. So, that's it for tonight, teachers. Maraming salamat sa inyong panonood and I hope you were able to get the meat of our discussion for tonight, which was also delivered perfectly by Dr. Kirk. So, maraming salamat again to our teachers, Teacher Angel and Teacher Pearl, and to Teacher Kim. Huwag kang ma-stress ha, hindi mo kasalanan na mahina ang internet. Oo, hayaan mo lang 'yan. So, we will be welcoming you whenever you are capable and able, oo, with the help of our internet. Oo, so soon. So thank you again and good night everyone.
Good
Good
Bye.
night.
night.
Good